Good afternoon. There are no breaks without inspiration here at TEDx, and this break is no different. Joining us is Bart Jacobs. He has studied maths and philosophy in Nijmegen. He is a professor in software security and correctness. Without any hesitation, I can call him an expert on cybersecurity. He is one of the advisors of the Ministry of Security and Justice, and you have cracked our public transport card. Welcome, Mr. Jacob. When I heard you were going to give a TED Talk today, I was convinced you were going to speak about cybersecurity, hacking, but it's about privacy. Why did you choose the privacy part?
Yeah, I think that is an important topic, which fits very well at such a TED event. Also, well, on such an occasion, you want to, on the one hand, give a rational message, on the other hand, play a bit on emotion. And privacy is a topic that's very well suited for that. Of course, cybersecurity, you can also play on emotions in a certain way, but that's a bit more cliche maybe to do that.
You spoke about privacy and trust. We are losing a lot of our privacy. We've got apps like NU.nl who can enter all our contacts.
But NU.nl is just an example. Almost all apps are really requiring outrageous permissions and basically stealing all our data from the phone. So a smartphone has become, well, an ideal spy device.
Because we're losing our privacy in a way. Is that a bad thing?
What we do is we always click OK.
Yeah.
In a sense, we do it ourselves. We've come so much into the habit of always clicking OK that we're not aware anymore of what's really going on. And this is what I wanted to try and point out in my presentation.
And what do we get in return? Just some apps for our smartphones, news? What do we get?
Well, that depends very much on the app, of course. But sometimes you get basically nothing in return, but all your data are stolen.
We just have to read it. For example, I don't read the iTunes agreements. I just click OK, OK, OK.
That's understandable because these agreements are hundreds of pages of what's called legalese text, really legal, difficult text. And they're definitely not meant for communication, communicating to you as a user. And there are some initiatives, especially on the European level, to force these companies to write very clearly in these agreements what data they are tracking and for what purposes they use. If, for instance, NU.nl would simply say, if you click here, OK, we know who you are and we always know where you are.
That would be a lot more scary indeed.
That would be a lot more scary. And these companies are, of course, not inclined to do that, but they do it without being very explicit about it, and many of us don't care.
Do you consider it to be a deceit of the customer, or is it?
I definitely do see it this way, but I try to give a message in my presentation which goes two ways. Yeah. On the one hand, directed at these companies, but also directed at the audience, that they're really fools.
Yeah.
Always click OK, OK, OK.
And is there actually an end to this? I mean, are we going to stop? Is there a certain point that we say, no, we do not accept these agreements anymore?
That depends very much on us. If we, as ordinary users and citizens, are more explicit about what we want, then companies will follow, because they go after their commercial interests. What people in the US call vote with your dollars, and that certainly can have an influence. But it's also good to make clear to our politicians that we think this is unacceptable behavior of these companies.
And do you think in the future can you well say that is the point we're going to do that, or is the future unknown to us?
No, there is no. I don't expect to see a black and white turning point. This is, of course, a gradual process. But to be honest, I'm fairly pessimistic about this, because there's so much shared interest also in government to know more about us for various reasons, including public security. That really, I talked about privacy-friendly technology that we are working on in my group. This is called IRMA, this project. And this allows you to prove, for instance, that you're over 18 when you're buying a bottle of whiskey and nothing else, just over 18. Now, it's a good question, and I also asked this publicly. Who will introduce this kind of technology? The Googles, the Facebook, the Apples, the Amazons?
No, they're not going to do it.
They are not interested. They want to plunder us. They want to know more and more of us and track us everywhere we go. So in that sense, we need to rely on regulation, on governments who at some stage say, and now
This is the end.
There is this technology and now we enforce that it will be used.
Okay, we'll end the interview with this message to our governments. Thank you very much for joining us for this interview. We're on a strict schedule, so don't hesitate to ask questions to us at Campus in Beeld or hashtag TEDxRadboudU. Keep watching, stay tuned.